Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told how to voice the radio. So today, look, what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to give you a bunch of facts and figures. Pokemon, the Pokemon Company, have gone and published some information about quite how well Pokemon is doing. And we know that Pokemon is doing well, right? Over the past year or so, well, less than that, maybe 6 months odd, I have been going a bit harder into the business side because I am a professional business teacher by trade. So, with a big business background, I figured, I might be the right kind of person to bring you news about Pokemon TCG on the businessy side. But we've had some stuff that's actually gone and been published, which really do put into numbers exactly quite how awesome Pokemon is at the moment. Now, the big headline figure is that in the financial year 2021, that is March 2020 or April 2020 to March 2021, they sold 3.7 billion Pokemon cards. Well, that doesn't really tell you very much now, does it, ladies and gentlemen? Because actually, and I talk about this in business a lot, numbers on their own don't actually mean anything. In order for numbers to actually be relevant, what we need is to compare it to other companies or previous years of the same company so we can actually get some kind of context. Now, unfortunately, getting information about many different TCGs is very difficult, but we do have information here regarding exactly how we can basically compare to previous years. So I can tell you that the lifetime total of Pokemon cards sold is 34.1 billion. That is 34.1 billion cards. But now actually we can do a little bit of a comparison. Because if they've sold 34.1 billion in their lifetime, but 3.7 billion were sold last year, then we can say that last year represented 10.9% of their total lifetime sales. Except Pokemon cards started being sold in Japan in 1996 and in England in 1999. Even if we ignore the 2.5 years they were only being sold in Japan, we're still talking 21 years. So you would expect each year to be roughly just under 5% of their sales. 20 years will be 5% per year. And we're talking nearly 11%. That is ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely ridiculous. It proves it's a very good year. How good? Biggest year in the past 5 years. Now, we have got the data going back to 2017. And we've also got 2015. Weirdly, not 2015-16. I've been chatting with a lovely Primal Lugia about this. Cannot find it. And do check out Poké Guardian. Great website. Great dude. Helped us out with some of this. So if we look at the growth over the last few years, we can see that this year went up to 34.1 billion. So they gained 3.7 billion cards sold. Last year, year-ending 2020, they had 3.2 extra. Year-ending 2019, they had 1.5. And year-ending 2018, they had 2.1 billion more sold. Now, these are good numbers every year. But you can see after a slight down year in 2019, they have then just gone plus 3.2, plus 3.7. These are ludicrous numbers. They somehow managed a 16% increase in sales on 2020, despite the fact that 2020 was a banner year. And this is one of the things we need to point out. It's not just that last year was a good year for the Pokemon trading card game. It is that last year was a bumper year coming off the back of a bumper year. That's what is so gosh darn impressive about these numbers. Now, we do have some lovely little figures that were shared here, a little image that was shared by the company. And what we basically got here is 34.1 billion cards sold. We mentioned that. 13 languages. Now, again, I've chatted this through with a lovely Primal Lugia. Okay, here's what they mean by 13 languages. At the moment, we got English, French, German, Italian, Spanish, Brazilian Portuguese, Indonesian, Thai, Korean, Japanese, and Mandarin Chinese. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Hang on a second, Wassy, that's 11 languages. Well, in the past, in the Diamond and Pearl era, there were Polish language cards. And up in the X and Y block, we had Russian language cards, but neither Polish nor Russian are still being made at the moment. As a fun little fact, and I did do a video about this a while ago, back in the very early days of the Pokemon trading card game, cards were actually made in Dutch. That is not the case here. Now, Primal Lugia's thought on this, and I agree entirely. Dutch cards were only ever made when Wizards of the Coast were running the game, before the license reverted back to Nintendo and the Pokemon Company at the advent of Gen 3. So I think what's probably happened here is they're not counting Dutch, because Dutch only existed in the Wizards of the Coast era. So, yeah. There are your 13 languages. And it's been sold in 76 countries. And honestly, I kind of wish I'd bought them in 76 different countries. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've bought them in the UK, in Italy, in Germany, in Sweden, in the Netherlands, in the US. I've racked up a few countries, but I would like many more, ladies and gentlemen. Many, many more. So suffice to say that not only are Pokemon cards incredibly popular, but they are growing. And the thing is, when you study as much business as I do, when you read about as many businesses as I have, you realize that sometimes lack of growth is not a terribly bad thing. There comes a point where companies have grown so much that actually just staying where you are is impressive. Last year, the Pokemon Company could happily have looked and gone, look, we sold 3.2 billion cards last year, which incidentally was about double the year before, which was a ridiculous amount of growth. You know what? This is good. We are crushing it. And yet somehow we saw 15% growth in year ending 2021, just in case they hadn't done well enough. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Everything that we have seen suggests that 2022 could be bigger. Now, the financial year runs from April, the beginning of, until March, the end of. So we're only 2 months into this fiscal year. What that means is it's impossible to give a really good, clear prediction. But what can we say so far about this year? Eevee Heroes. Eevee Heroes has been absolutely crushing. Over in Japan, the Pokemon Company have literally tweeted out to apologize for how much they've sold out. They've made official statements about the fact that it's actually sold out, and they're going to be reprinting it, and they're putting all kinds of things just into place to try and fix this in the future. Eevee Heroes is about as popular as we've ever seen the Pokemon trading card game. Japan has been seeing shortages, the likes of which they haven't had for a few years now. And it's still wildly popular over here. And don't get me wrong, it's easier now to find cards on the shelves than it has been for a while. But that really does seem to be an increase in supply more than anything else. Again, we know the Pokemon Company have been working to increase their supply. They've been super transparent about it. So what that means is we could see another bumper year here. Or maybe not. Last year we had Shiny Star V in Japan, and I told you how ridiculously that sold. We did a video the other day about the fact that it's the most popular product on the whole of eBay Japan. And similarly, Shining Fates, our equivalent over here, sold absolute gangbusters, was a super popular set. And then, of course, last year we had Vivid Voltage, which had Pikachu in, the big giant rainbow rare Pikachu. So maybe those sets really did contribute to the growth more. I'm not convinced. I think Pokemon last year, don't get me wrong, things like Shining Fates and Vivid Voltage definitely helped, but I think Pokemon just had a banner year because the hype got crazy. And this year we've got Eevee Heroes. Not to mention we've got the remakes of Diamond and Pearl coming in the latter part of this year, which is probably going to get people a little bit excited, one would imagine. That's going to build some hype for the game. And, of course, let's not forget that Legends Arceus is coming in January, which is still very much in the fiscal year. And I know that these are video games, but the thing to remember is, when Pokemon is successful, cards sell. One of the biggest factors for Pokemon cards selling highly a few years ago was the advent of Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go got people into Pokemon. Pokemon cards have always been kind of popular and kind of cool. And as soon as Pokemon gets popular, and we've seen this, we saw it with Pokemon Go, we've seen it this past year, then the cards follow. When hype for Pokemon builds, hype for the card game builds along with it. So basically, Pokemon is doing superbly well. They managed to have 10.9% of their lifetime sales in a single year, 21 years in. They saw fairly significant growth coming off the back of a banner year, and honestly, there's reason to believe that this coming year might be even more dumb. And by dumb, I mean selling crazy, crazy numbers. And I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, the Pokemon trading card game is my favourite thing. Obviously not including my family, that would be ridiculous. But outside of my family, it is my favourite thing. So when I see the Pokemon trading card game doing very well, I like to come out and explain all about it in as much detail as I can. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you need to know. There are some rules about quite how fancy it is. But now, I want to know from you guys. I want to know what you think about this. I want to know if you think Pokemon is going to have as big a year this year as it did last year. I want to know your opinions as to why it's doing quite so well. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.